Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. It is my hope and prayer that this episode will find you in good health. I'm also doing okay, and I want to thank you for your continued support. Now, two brothers had a little bit of altercation. Eden Duale, who is the CS in the Ministry of Defense, and the Grand Mullah, who is a lawyer and who has now become one of the worst critics of William Samoei Ruto. In fact, I'm trying to adapt to Grand Mullah because I have never supported him. But I like the fact that in as much as he doesn't want Raila Amolo Odinga, by the way, he does not subscribe to Raila Odinga's political ideologies. But sometimes he corrects William Ruto. The other time he had a fight with the recently defected Nguni Mutahi. And he was saying that Nguni Mutahi is leaking boots. He does not want to show William Ruto direction even when things are wrong. And in particular, Ahmednasir has been mad about corruption in Ruto's government, especially that in the judiciary. Some people say that he's got a bone to chew with the judiciary, that he used to have his ways in the judiciary, but now the ways are blocked. But the common man do not care. As long as he unmasks the ills that are happening in Ruto's government, then we're happy, because we need people to come together, including the clergy, the Law Society of Kenya, human rights groups, to remind Ruto when things are wrong. And so Eden Duale tried the usual theatrics and PR in Ruto's government. And when everyone was quiet, Grand Mullah, who is a very close friend of his, a brother, took on him and reminded him that we are not gullible to the extent that they think we are. Let's go straight to what happened. Apparently, the KDF has announced a massive recruitment of citizens into several positions, servicemen, cadet. Of course, you know, cadet is another level where the brainies, those who have good brains are recruited, I think, from B plus and above, or if you've undergone some training. And you all know that this exercise has always been marred with corruption and nepotism. Corruption and nepotism. So Eden Duale took that opportunity to assure Kenyans that this time round, the recruitment exercise is going to be free and fair, without favoritism. They are going to do it on meritocracy, on merit. Of course, you all know that there has to be some physical conditions that you must attain, some height and good health and all that, and that your academic prowess will also play. And so Eden Duale wrote a reminder, some long reminder there, but just the first line reads that it is ironic that the Kenyan Defense Forces, one of the most disciplined militaries in the world, has in the past had recruitment exercises marred with indiscipline and unlawful dealings such as bribery and favoritism. And of course, when you go down, he took that opportunity to assure Kenyans that they are reminding them through SMSs and other communication channels to be wary of fraudsters and charlatans, those who pretend to be recruitment agents. And they are cautioning Kenyans to be very careful not to be cheated, because during such recruitments, there are people who will, cheat Kenyans, hoodwink them. Some parents end up selling their property. They sell their cattle, they sell their land, because they trust that within some few years, owing to the salary and privileges in the military, they will get back their money. So they're being questioned. And let us also spread this message that people should be very careful to know who they are dealing with. But it didn't end there, because one person feels that this is just a mere PR, public relations, to massage people's feelings. In fact, as we speak, some people was answering Honorable Duale that those who will be recruited are already known. Their names are already in the headquarters. But this is what Grand Mullah said. At least I pronounced it today, Grand Mullah. Someone once corrected me when I said Camp Mullah. It is Grand Mullah. This is what Ahmed said. Waziri, Kenyans appreciate this timely and excellent statement. By the way, it was a statement. But 99.9% of Kenyans believe that all successful candidates all over, and all over is written there in caps, Kenya will pay between 500,000 shillings to 700,000 Kenya shillings as bribe to your offices undertaking the recruitment. Waziri, that has been the case in the past. What had changed to stop this tradition? Nothing. Do you agree with Grand Mullah that, number one, this has been the trend during recruitment into the disciplined forces, including the police and the military? Do you agree? The second question, if that has been the trend, do you believe that something has been done? Or do you agree with him that this trend has not changed and it will continue? Because he says, what had changed to stop this tradition? And it says in caps, nothing. You see, Ahmednasir is speaking very boldly. I think they are one of the very few people who remain to tell the truth. And to see, by indicting the corruption in the Ministry of Defense, he's indicting the president himself, because Ministry of Defense lies squarely under the office of the president. And so by alluding to a fact, because I believe it's a fact, that recruitments are never done on merit, he is just saying that William Ruto's government is corrupt to the core. I have only seen two people who talk about corruption, those who are very close to William Ruto. It is Ahmednasir and the member of parliament of Odhaya. I think when they were in 5-day Nyanza central tour, he took on the podium and told William Ruto, now that the demonstrations have subsided, now take on the monster of corruption, because it is derailing and diluting everything that you've done. But ladies and gentlemen, the recruitment exercise will be marred by about three things. One, it will be full of corruption. People buy, in his own very words, Ahmednasir is saying, 500,000 to 700,000 shillings. If I look at this kind of money in the context of my home village, in fact, I wonder how many people can afford this. I know there are people who've got this money, but it means that the poor will not get, because you get people who, even how many, for example, how many heads of cattle will you sell to amount to 500 Kenyan shillings? Because the only thing that you can do here is to sell your land, ancestral land, of which you are not even sure, because many a times people have sold their land, pay the unscrupulous dealers, and that money goes like that. Then they end up, parents end up living on antidepressants, the same thing that was being said in Uasin Gishu. So Eden Duale must be very careful, because I don't think they have done anything to avert this kind of corruption. Whether this money will end up in the right hands or the wrong hands, there is corruption in this, and they should not just talk to please Kenyans, but do something. Number two, nepotism will always be here. Most these prestigious positions will be given to the staff, the senior officials in the military, so that they have their relatives who will be given first priority. Which is not bad, as long as it is done on merit. But let them not take like a quarter of everything. Let them just take maybe a 16th of the number that is given. I'm saying this because this is the truth. Let them not take, for example, a half of the positions. Number 3, Kenyans are worried that since this government is one that has been declared of a Kenya Kwanza limited company, and it has been proved in the other recruitments and appointments, 2 tribes are going to dominate this recruitment. They are going to absorb mostly 2 tribes. And this is going to happen because, one, William Ruto is preparing his own arsenal, his own people. For the 10 years that Uhuru was in power, he recruited members of his community. And so William Ruto wants to ensure that his own community is also stable within the military, so that by the time we get to 2027, he will be sure that he's got the lion's share in the military. Without going into the nitty-gritties, because matters military are not being talked about so much. But we are looking at it in the sense that they have said this is a Kenya Kwanza limited company, so that Ruto's tribe will dominate, then maybe Rigathi Gachagwa's tribe. And apart from talking, Eden Duale should ensure that they implement what they preach. Because we have seen corruption in the government. People with cases have always gone scot-free. The administration has gone into jails and pardoned people who had been punished and had been judged to serve jail terms of more than 10 years. And we have seen people who support William Ruto, even including former governors, who have got cases, questionable, culpable cases. Their cases have subsided. And this is the reason why Ahmednasir is telling Duale that 99.9% of Kenyans don't trust the recruitment process. Do you yourself trust the recruitment process? Do you think it will be free of nepotism? There will be no support of someone's tribe or clan or what or race? Do you think it will be free of corruption? People want to be bribed. Do you think it will be done on merit so that they don't look at their tribes? 99.9%. If you are in that category, please tell me. And it is not only in this ministry, in all the other in the departments, 2 tribes will dominate. People will demand for bribery. And as such, Kenya can never move forward. Apart from the tough talks and all this, corruption is a major problem in Ruto's government. Until the day he decides to take the bull by its horn, to ensure that some of his friends are jailed, then that shall be a warning. And he will have made a giant step towards fighting corruption. And on this, again, I take a stand and I concur with Ahmednasir. And now the difference between Ahmednasir and Ngunyi is that Ahmednasir will always tell Ruto when things are wrong. Ngunyi now has made a U-turn and is licking boots. And I think, Ahmednasir, we are praying that one day you make a U-turn and stop being a double sword. When things are wrong, tell them the way it is. Ladies and gentlemen, all the best to those who want to try their luck. Because our military, I say, is one of the best. And that is my take.